Sherry, a moment ago you mentioned empathy in robots. And, one of the things we like to focus on here at TDW is skills that are uniquely human and somewhat future-proof from technology. Now, empathy should fit squarely in that category, and yet empathy and caregiving robots are on the rise for the elderly. There's the Moxie robot that was designed to help teach kids mindfulness and interpersonal skills. We've talked about these in a recent mini episode Nate and I did on Your Next Colleague Might Be a Robot. And in addition, there's the therapist chatbot Wobot. And in your book, in the epilogue of the Empathy Diaries, you wrote, a virtual assistant or chatbot that offers friendship reduces a person to lines of code, because that's all it knows how to do. But now technologists argue that to get the most out of such programs, we should treat them as the people they are pretending to be. However, if we put ourselves on the level of the machines we've created, we elevate them and diminish ourselves. We start to say that relationships between people and machines are interpersonal. There's no sense in that. And later on, you go to call this pretend empathy and ask, do we really want to feel empathy for machines that feel nothing for us? Talk to us about this. How is empathy a uniquely human superpower? And what happens when we give our machines empathy or allow them to provide empathy for us and loved ones? And I think the last question is kind of related to that. Are there use cases in which machines or programs can help us improve our empathy in the same way something like Duolingo can teach us a language? Are there use cases where technology is helpful?
Well, let me answer the final question, because this is my favorite topic. I've been writing about this for 20 years. I mean, ever since sociable robots came on the scene, I've been on this because I saw it coming. I knew the first people who were working on it. I brought the first sociable robots into nursing homes. I've been on I've been on this from the start, and the robots have gotten better and better. They can fool us into thinking they care about us more and more.
They can pass the Turing test.
They passed the Turing test for empathy. In other words, the Turing test was a test of, could the test make you think it was intelligent? It took a long time for machines to really make you think that they were people, and you couldn't tell if they were. He said, if a machine can make you think it's a person, that will be the sign it's intelligent. It was a behavioral test for intelligence. And it took a long time for machines to be able to have fluency of speech on any topic. Even now, you can kind of fool one and screw one up, and it gets off the track. But basically, machines finally passed the Turing test for intelligence. And it's much easier, actually, to have a machine that can fool you into thinking it cares about you. And they absolutely can now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I give them, there's no discussion. The question is, what has been accomplished, and is it good for people?
Yep.
If an 8-year-old girl thinks that a robot loves her,
yes,
and tells her secrets to this robot, and I was interviewing a girl and her mother, and the mother was so happy that the little girl was telling her secrets to the robot. And the mother said, she feels free because she feels that nobody will, the robot is a safe place for her. There's never any feeling of, that there'll be any pushback, or she'll be challenged, or it's just a kind of, she's venting.
Right.
And I said to the mother, I said, what makes your daughter feel loved when she tells you these things, and you say, but honey, let me just stop you there and say this to you about that, is that she's learning how to form a human relationship, which is much more important than venting. Who said that the most important thing for the development of a human spirit and a human psyche is that we should feel free to vent? This is an idea that a roboticist thought was a good idea. And some superficial psychologist said that, and some roboticist said, "Oh, I love that idea because my robot can do it."
Right.
But that's not a sophisticated psychological idea, is that what I need to do is vent, and that's going to be helpful to me. That's not what a therapeutic relationship is about, is me venting. What a therapeutic relationship is about is forming a relationship with another human being who understands the complexity of life. I said to this mom, give yourself credit for what you bring your daughter. You don't bring her venting. You bring her a human relationship. Your empathy and your understanding and the complexity of this love. This is what is going to heal your child. And the mother was like, she had forgotten what it was, the most important thing about it, what it is to be a mother. And I tell this story, it's 1 out of 100, but I tell this story because I think there's something about the bells and whistles and the amazingness of this wobot, or all the other things we have that are pretending to care about us, that makes us forget what we can give each other and what they can never give us, which is the complexity and the history of being a person and listening to our stories and having empathy and being in a connection with us that's the connection and the complexity of another human being.